Pneumatica Book 1 by Aaron Wilburn and Aaron Knight. The Frank Cole Sequence. Chapter 2, Section 4. 6 months ago. It's not that there's anything wrong with pursuing joy or finding things that give you pleasure. It's just that the entire world seems completely consumed with it now, to the exclusion of some of the best parts of our humanity. I think Jesus would have wept over any enclave city or arcology much harder than he had wept over Jerusalem. So maybe as a measure of quiet defiance, I had built my refuge underneath a place of faith. I had warned the local gangs away with extreme prejudice when I had first started working as a PI. These days, people knew they could come to All Saints if they really needed help. I had just stepped into my subterranean domicile when I got the message with Sandra's address. Sure enough, it was for an apartment in Biodyne's North Dallas corporate residential tower. Somehow, the knowledge that this woman who had been helping me with Pops for so long actually lived only a short drone ride away put me on guard. Rather than leaving immediately, I cleaned myself up. I put the water recycler through its paces, showering away the train trip, strange vision, and emotional turmoil of the conversation with Sandra. I shaved away the stubble, and then climbed into a tailored suit, a charcoal number with a gray tie that I used for corporate gigs. I had the credentials necessary to carry personal arms in the residential tower, so I made sure my old Metal Storm 50 was in good working order and holstered in a shoulder rig, along with several spare loaded barrels. I thought for a moment, and then added my Honjo Monodaito, sheathing it in a concealed rig on my back. I had found that corporate business got vicious more quickly than just about anything else I had encountered. I meant to go in prepared. By the time I was ready, night had long since come on. I put my trench coat back on, then accessed my vector script and called for a pre-programmed helo drone. I tended to prefer either live drivers or to just take the wheel myself, but the tower's landing zone was a pre-programmed hotspot. It was less expensive to just let a bot do the driving and drop me off. I was on Biodyne's rolls as a trusted independent contractor, so I had no trouble getting past the North Dallas checkpoint and onto the tower's landing pad. Sandra had a mid-level apartment, meaning that despite her humble beginnings as an indent, she had shown enough promise and skill to gain status within the company. That didn't surprise me at all. When I finally stood outside her door, I was struck with sudden trepidation. I was tempted to just send her a notification, but an urge to actually knock overrode that first impulse. I rapped on the faux oak politely, but firmly, then stood back to make sure I was fully visible through the digital viewport. The door opened, and a little tow-headed kid with the same striking gray eyes as Sandra's peeked out from behind it. The boy had on blue pajamas, and Sandra stood just behind him in a loose t-shirt and shorts, her long black hair unbound. She was just as beautiful in real life, and her look of simple comfort was unexpectedly appealing. "Frank? What are you doing here? I wasn't expecting you so soon," Sandra said, surprise and relief evident on her face. "Well, when we spoke, it seemed urgent. I cleaned up a bit, but then got here as soon as I could after that," I replied, keeping my face neutral. "Can I come in, or do you want to do this in the hall?" I saw her hesitation, and then added, "Or do you want me to come back another time?" She glanced down at the boy, who was looking curiously back and forth between the two of us. She smiled at him for just a moment, ruffled his hair, and shooed him inside. Then she turned to me and did the same, ushering me into the apartment with a smile and a wave of her hand. Present day. A new text chat request broke Frank out of the immersion of the hollow. He saw it was from Grim and remembered the time with a start. He opened up a chat window and entered the conversation. Grim toast. "Frank, WTH, man. Do you know what time it is? I notified you hours ago. Babette's got something. She needs to meet with you. Frank Cole, PI. Ah, for heaven's sake, yes you did. I lost track of time. Where does she want to do it? Grim toast. There's a club on Swiss and Good Latimer. Loud, public, good jammers for privacy. I'm friends with the current owners. Wear black. Frank Cole, PI. Sigh. That place? Fine, I can be there in half an hour. Grim toast. That tracks for Babette, too. Be careful, man. You can't afford to get caught on this one. Frank Cole, PI. I know.